So I'm listening to a sports talk show on the radio, so I might have a ghost of a glimmer of what people are talking about when they're talking about sports, which they do frequently. And the fellow who runs the show plays bits of music when he returns from a break, not on every break, but occasionally. And he'd say something about the music he's playing. He knows a great deal about the history of rock and roll and rhythm and blues, often some insightful stuff. It adds another dash of interest to his show. And this one time he's playing, let's say it's John Lennon's Whatever Gets You Through the Night, and there's a saxophone wailing away, and the show host is talking about Bobby Keys, whom he calls one of the great session musicians of all time. If you don't believe that, he says, go listen to, and he reels off a number of songs, one of which is Can't You Hear Me Knockin' by the Rolling Stones. This catches my interest because I've been trying to think of a song done by them which ends with an extended instrumental part, and I know right away that this is it. So I look it up on the internet, and I'm right, and he's right too. Bobby Keys has a nice break in it, as does Mick Taylor, and there's that unmistakable hook grabbing in at the start by Keith Richards, who specialized in things like that. And if you catch a live version of the song, you might also hear a respectable turn on the harmonica by Mick Jagger. All in all, it's a blast. Keys, to give him his due, did play with everybody. He came out of Lubbock, Texas as a teenager, started out with Buddy Holly, and by the time he was done, you could play a musical 6 Degrees of Bobby Keys with everyone in the business. He also partied hard, drinking, and in his own words, contributing to the delinquency of everybody I could. He wrote a book about it, Every Night is Saturday Night. There are lots of stories, like the one about him and Richards throwing a television out of a 10th-story hotel window, and him filling a bathtub with champagne and then drinking it all. He was not the most reliable band member, and even the notoriously hedonistic Stones had to cut him loose at times. Living like that does take its toll. Turns out the sports talk host was talking about Bobby Keys because he had just died of cirrhosis of the liver, cause of death, too many Saturday nights. That's not why I'm doing this. I'm here because when I was listening to the song, I was struck by how stupid the lyrics are. They're no more stupid than many other songs, and I've talked about how song lyrics are not meant to be studied or seriously considered. And the Stones have songs with lyrics that aren't hopelessly stupid, like It's All Over Now and Under My Thumb and Satisfaction. They've got mean, nasty songs, too, of the Let It Bleed and Sympathy for the Devil variety. But this Knockin' thing is crap, the lyrics anyway. Look, it isn't as if I was expecting To His Coy Mistress or even My Love Is Like a Red, Red Rose. And every song doesn't have to be an Eleanor Rigby, the first song I heard when I was young that brought me up short and made me think, wow, you can do that? Can't You Hear Me Knockin' doesn't rise to that level. I recognize the standard terrain of the song, the hot-blooded lover who's been locked out, or the junkie who needs a fix. And I know there are people who will think the lyrics to this song are great, and I'm a moron. Fine. I knew people who thought Stairway to Heaven was a psalm, or at least some part of the Bible, and they had the lyrics tattooed on their skin. Yeah, you got satin shoes. Yeah, you got plastic boots. Y'all got cocaine eyes. Yeah, you got speed freak jive. Can't you hear me knocking? Etc. Something's wrong here. This is worse than stupid. It's not stupid. It's snide, mean, nasty, degrading, just the way they like it. It's Mick doing his cat in heat bit. I know at the time they wrote this, the Stones were high all the time, thinking only with their dicks, and so successful that they could have sung off the label of a can of pork and beans, and it would have been a big hit. Maybe it's just that you've got bad karma because two guys named Mick are playing in one band. And Bobby Keys, liver temporarily intact, driving the train.